This is an overview of Topic 4, Leadership for Social Justice. This is a particularly important topic because social justice underpins a lot of the leadership, or most of the leadership, all of the leadership which we are espousing in this subject. The chapter by Tina Lynn Evans provides a really good frame for this topic, and she asks 3 questions. Can we develop leadership today that is not inherently corrupt and manipulative? Can we organise people effectively within systems of leadership and participation in order to recast societies into forms that nurture and justly serve people and nature simultaneously? What might such systems of leadership and participation look like, and on what values and practices would they be based? So, this leadership is purpose and place centred. It's counter-hegemonic, so it's not top-down controlling. It's inclusive and responds to the 2 crises of social justice and environmental destruction. They go together. They go together hand in glove, because environmental destruction is an important social justice issue. It's displacing people. It's displacing living creatures. It's integral to social justice. And she suggests that leaders need to practice humility, listening, empathy, and taking others and nature seriously as subjects and community members in their own right. So that's looking at them as subjects, part of the system, not objects separate from. So we need to be able to dismantle a lot of our organising concepts and values. So changing our worldviews and our concepts, changing the paradigm of widespread domination and exploitation of people and of nature by the powerful few, which she calls the leaders of the globalised capitalist world. And more this is coming to the fore, particularly this year in the year of COVID-19, the pandemic. So I've actually included some readings that are quite current. I've put Keith Grint in here, and Keith Grint's first term the term wicked problems. The article Leadership, Management and Command in the Time of Coronavirus is particularly insightful. I've also included an article by Armstrong et al. About appreciative inquiry, and how appreciative inquiry, coming from a positive strength-based mindset, can guide our growth. The additional article by Noble on Leading for Tomorrow in a World Yearning for Social Justice is also highly recommended. I have put in a case study here from Keith Grint, it's Pandemic and Crisis Leadership. And why I've put this in, the article written by Suze Wilson, and Suze has written quite a lot, and you'll see her in other parts of this subject. Pandemic lessons, leadership lessons from New Zealand's approach to COVID-19, and some of you may have already read this, and this is very much about Jacinda Ardern's approach, her social justice orientation, because with COVID-19, a lot of injustice has coming to the fore. We've seen the rise of Black Lives Matter. We've seen people who are people of colour, people who are marginalised, people from low socio-economic backgrounds are being displaced, are being affected by COVID-19, are dying in higher numbers. So a lot of stuff's been happening as a result. So it's brought a lot of things to the fore. And the current, and I say current, the current Trump administration has similarly done that as well. The other the other reading about the crisis and for the case study is by Dominguez, Garcia Martinez and Hernandez Arriguia. leveraging power of mutual aid, coalitions, leadership and advocacy during COVID-19. I think you'll get a lot out of reading both of these because they really come from that social justice lens. And we also have a video which is how leaders can navigate during COVID-19. These are all very current and contemporary resources, which is really important because this subject is contemporary issues in leadership. There are two books that I have here as well, and I mentioned one of them when we had our first online meeting, and it's After Australia. It is in the library, but I actually have the copy at the moment. It's an excellent book. It's very new. It came out this year, and it really is grounded in social justice and how we can think of the future, how we are going to reconcile our future and how we can look differently. It's very much about racism. It's about how we have treated our Indigenous people and how we can turn this around. So this is actually a really excellent book if you wish to read this, because it is very contemporary, and some of you I know are doing a focus on social justice and Indigenous people. And then the other one which I have started reading, and I went to the webinar for this, is Upturn, A Better Normal After COVID-19, edited by Tanya Plebisek. In this, there are some really challenging chapters about First Nations people, moving away from our fixation on fossil fuels, changing the economic system, having a society that is built from grassroots, and in this subject we talk about grassroots leadership, looking at what is full employment, inclusiveness of young people, women, how women fit into the future, secure housing, how important secure housing is with the rise in homelessness. These are all social justice issues. Just turn this off. Sorry about that. That was my son calling. And education, how we can look at education for the future, multiculturalism, regenerative agriculture, banking, a whole range of things that are related to, all related to social justice, and particularly related to your social justice and to this subject. So the main points of this topic are that we have to look at dismantling our dominant ways of organising and decision-making to moving to a more local or place-based dialogic and collaborative approach to address social inequality, that our leadership needs to be oriented to social justice, which includes an orientation to nature as subjects and community in their own right, together with the practices of humility, listening and empathy. And during this pandemic, we've learned a lot about the intersectionality of social justice with health, economic and environmental issues. And there is a need for crisis leadership which demonstrates those above attributes. Anyway, thank you for listening, and apologies for the phone interruption. Cheers.